And in regards to healthcare, despite all the fear-mongering about the evils of a government takeover, under the private health insurance monopoly, Americans pay more for healthcare than anyone else in the world, and by a long way. Yet the life expectancy here is lower than most other developed nations, all of whom, except for Mexico and Turkey, have so-called socialized medicine. And so what does the American dream mean for you?
American dream to me is one word: freedom.
Defending the American dream means defending our rights and our freedoms and our liberties that have made this country great.
To me, the American dream is to live in peace and prosperity and freedom. And government under socialism is not a government of freedom.
What about the freedom of individuals to make up their own mind through reason and rational debate? What about the freedom to trust that grassroots groups are just that, and not a marketing tool used by powerful interests like the energy industry and health insurers to protect profits and maintain the status quo? And what does the fact that this is happening on such a large scale say about the state of American democracy?
I think it's a serious threat to our democracy, and I think people are mostly unaware of it, if not completely unaware of the threat. They're very much unaware of the front groups, unaware of how their thoughts are being manipulated and how their actions are actually being manipulated in many cases. I think they're unaware that we, to a large extent, have a plutocracy in this country, or at least an emerging one, rather than democracy. And I think that's because of the rise of power and influence of corporations and the way that they've been able to use PR and PR tactics and propaganda to get what they want.
We are drowning in propaganda, drowning in it. And I'm not speaking figuratively. I think it's threatening our lives. It's cutting off our air. It's making real democracy all but impossible. It has brought the planet to the point of ecological destruction. It's had no positive consequences whatsoever because it doesn't serve the people. It serves other interests.
I've come to believe more and more as I've been studying this problem that the real currency in democracy is honest information. That if you are on a mass scale able to pump out false information, then the whole democratic system kind of breaks up. And yet these people have a perfect right to do it and hide their involvement in it.
Is astroturfing killing democracy? And if so, who can stop it?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Come on and lift your holy hands. Come on and lift your holy hands.
Will our prayers be answered by Congress? In 2007 and again in 2010, they tried to force grassroots lobbyists to disclose their funding sources, but AstroTurf groups rallied to beat it.
Hallelujah! Come on and dance like David dance. Come on and dance like David dance.
So if we can't rely on government, the responsibility of taking on these corporate Goliaths falls to each one of us.
I have to tell you, having never attended a United Nations sponsored conference, I kind of hope this is my last. And I'll tell you this, it's interesting to hear this.
To be like these climate activists who crashed an Americans for Prosperity event in Copenhagen, to recognise and call out astroturfing wherever we see it.
You are listening now to the shouts in the background of the Hitler Youth.
I think if people recognize it, they'll be more informed. They will not be as gullible as they are. They'll not be susceptible. When they see TV commercials, they'll ask, well, who's behind that? When they see an op-ed in a newspaper, hopefully they'll ask, well, who is that person really representing?
Ask yourself, why is it that that reporter isn't asking who's funding this guy's PR junket across the country? Who is the American Petroleum Institute? Who's paying for this? You know, is this actually legitimate? The more we know about these people and what they're up to, the less effective they are. So it's like turning the lights on. Everything goes scuttling back into the corners.